Scavenging stations are one of the most incredible items that you can have at your settlements in Fallout 4. And you can build them right from the get-go. You don't need any extra perk requirements, and they only require 5 wood and 3 steel to build. Unfortunately, the description only says extra scavenging production. Well, it's a bit more complicated than that, and that's what I'm here to talk about. Because odds are, if you don't know the exact mechanics of the scavenging station, then this item will unfortunately be rendered useless. Whenever a settler is unassigned, they will scavenge to produce 1 junk item a day to deposit into the workshop. However, if a settler is assigned to a scavenging station rather than producing 1 item to deposit into the workshop, they will produce 2 items to deposit directly into the workshop. Remember earlier when I said if you don't know the exact mechanics of this item, it's rendered useless? Well, that's what we're going to touch on right now. Because what the game does not tell you is that there is a limit to how much junk can be stored in your workshop at a time. And the limit is 100 pieces of junk plus the population of your settlers multiplied by 5. It's starting to make sense now, isn't it? Why when you scrap down the entirety of Sanctuary and put a scavenging station down, you didn't really notice anything ever, and you never touched scavenging stations again. That's because all the junk from the items that you scrap down get deposited in the workbench and start taking up those slots. Whenever your workshop fills up with junk, you're supposed to empty it so it can fill back up again. But now suddenly you don't have any junk at your workshop to build anything, and this is where the charisma perk Local Leader comes into play, which allows you to establish supply lines. Or if you join the raiders with Nuka World and turn it into a raider settlement, you'll be able to access the building materials from all of your other raider settlements or supply line settlements. So let's say you have 5 settlements designed to produce junk with scavenging stations. Ideally, you would want a sort of hub settlement where you could deposit the collected junk and either be a raider or have supply lines, so you could still build with the junk you're using and still be collecting more junk as well. If you're struggling to lug all that junk around, you could have a companion carry it for you, or you could invest in the strong back perk, rank 4 of which allows you to fast travel while you're over encumbered. And so while this may look like a meager collection of junk, this was merely 1 out of the dozens of Commonwealth settlements. Now, the population of each settlement is a default of 10 settlers, plus 1 for every point of charisma that you have. So imagine how much junk you'd be able to produce passively while you're out and about exploring the wasteland, collecting even more junk on your travels. You could build anything you like. Follow for more Fallout. Mwah.